We are about to get started. Welcome, Huwaida. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, it's good to be with you. Thank you for having me and for sticking it out with me. I'm not very experienced with TikTok at all, as you know. So the technical difficulties were all my fault.
It worked out. It worked out. We were a little bit, we wondered if we were gonna have to reschedule because of the
Yeah.
connection, but alhamdulillah, it worked out, and we are here with all of you guys today. So I wanted to just have you start out because from what we know now, everyone has officially been released, correct, from Israeli uh prisons and custody.
Yes, the last two from the Handala 21 were freed this morning. They were taken by the Israeli pirates, our captors, to the King Hussein Allenby Bridge, and they crossed over there. Hatem was met by the Tunisian embassy, and Chris was not, despite repeated attempts to contact the American consulate, American embassy. They were so not responsive. We can talk about that, but they were horrible. The Americans requested over and over again to see an American representative, and nobody even responded. Meanwhile, like other embassies were at the port waiting for the boat to be brought in by the Israeli pirates. But anyway, so Chris and Hatem were the last two, and they were taken to the bridge this morning. They crossed over. Chris is with friends. Members of the Freedom Flotilla Coalition and friends, they're taking very good care of him. And those who were expecting like his flight arrangements, the Israeli occupiers really screwed with him. And I think you guys have seen some of their posts that we put out that he was roughed up, he was beaten
Hmm.
up, he was uh, definitely singled out, racist treatment, but also with his flights, because there were three Americans left as of yesterday. Two went out on the same flight. Chris could have been on that flight, but they messed with him. They sent him instead to Amman, and then they had a flight for him to go from Amman to Dubai, and then Dubai to the US, which was just like completely unnecessary. Our team just changed his flight so he doesn't have to go through Dubai. So those people who have had maybe a different arrival time for him, that has changed. I think our team should be announcing it soon, but it looks like 9 a.m. tomorrow he'll arrive at to JFK instead, if I'm not mistaken. I just had a quick glance at his new
So
itinerary,
it's
but
not the 8:30 a.m. tomorrow because that's the last thing that we saw, I believe, from that was posted on the Flotilla Coalition um, Instagram and social medias. It was tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. that he was going to be arriving. Did that change?
yeah, he was going to be. Well, that one had him arriving at Newark, and it actually had him arriving on Saturday. So, again, it was just a very convoluted route. Again, just messing with him. So, our team just changed his flight. So, he'll leave tonight from Amman, and I think it's direct to JFK. And yeah, uh, I mean, I could double check while we're on this, but it looks like I'm sure we'll be posting it soon. But it did change.
Okay.
It did change.
Um, so we were all watching you live from the flotilla, cameras until one of the IDF soldiers had switched the cameras off and nobody knew what happened afterwards. Everything went dark. Could you explain what happened Could you explain what happened after those cameras completely went dark and we didn't know, nobody knows what from our end what happened? If you can explain your experience and what happened afterward.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you to everyone who tuned in to our lives and were with us the whole way. I keep saying, there's only a limited number of us on the boats, but we can't do it alone. Like it needs the support of so many people sharing and joining and being very much a part of this, both for the message itself to the people of Gaza, and they're not alone. It's not only a few people trying to reach them and break this siege, but it is millions. And then also for the efficacy of being able to share and let the world know what's going on and putting pressure on Israel. So thank you for joining us. I'll just go a few minutes back before the moment that you mentioned, and it is, we were reading that afternoon that in the Israeli media that Israel was going to quote unquote give us the opportunity to turn around, and if we refuse, then they would seize our boat. And I'm only raising this because it just kind of highlights another lie. I mean, Israel always lies because they never contacted us, and it was getting dark, and we know that they attack it in the dark. And so after the sun had completely gone down, it was dark, and we noted strange activity on our radar, like ships coming right at us. Israel had not tried to contact us at all by any means. So I picked up the VHF radio a number of times, and I called out to them, to the Israeli Navy, and they did not respond over and over again, and they did not respond. Meanwhile, they were responding to other ships. So it's not like they couldn't hear us or they weren't in the vicinity. On the VHF radio channel 16, it's like all boats within the vicinity, all ships can radio each other. So I hear them responding to other ships, but not responding to ours. And I think I made a comment to that effect on the live stream. Then finally they responded, and they spewed their propaganda about we are navigating towards a closed military area, an area that is navally blockaded, and some stuff about Hamas, and it's stuff that they always say. And then they said that they will, take whatever steps necessary to enforce this blockade under international law, which I couldn't hold back. It was so, I mean, it would be funny if it wasn't so serious that they claim to be acting according to international laws. So I said, look, I'm going to give you a little bit of a lesson in international law and the fact that any blockade, and this should be just said over and over, because our governments also say it, and I've heard people say it to us before too, like, what do you expect areas under naval blockade? Well, we expect the global community to respect international law. Like, that should be the bare minimum. And the fact is, it's not only today that Israel's blockade is illegal. When it was first imposed in 2006, it was imposed as a means of collective punishment. That is a war crime in international law. So it's not okay. It's not legal. You can't enforce an illegal blockade. In 2010, after Israel attacked the Gaza Freedom Flotilla, the UN Human Rights Commission appointed a panel of experts, independent experts, to investigate what happened. And in its report, like, one of the first things they stated or studied is the legality of Israel's blockade. And they found that the blockade was illegal. I won't go into like all of the legal aspects of it, but at a bare minimum, when any kind of military tactic is used, if it's going to have a disproportionate harmful effect on civilians, then it's illegal. So you kind of hear about proportionality and collateral damage. I hate that word, but anyway. So that UN commission of legal experts said the blockade is unlawful because it was having a disproportionate harmful effect on the civilian population relative to the military advantage gained. And because the blockade is unlawful, it's illegal, Israel has no right to enforce it. And because Israel has no right to enforce it, they cannot use any kind of force to enforce an illegal, unlawful blockade. That was back in 2010. Like, the whole world knows that Israel's blockade is unlawful. But our governments, of course, don't do anything about it. We continued, as the Freedom Flotilla, to try to break the blockade, to try to encourage others to do the same. And of course, our governments keep giving Israel a pass and colluding with Israel. And so we're seeing what we're seeing today, a live stream genocide and an engineered famine. And Israel just thinks it's accountable to nobody. And it's one of the things that we've been calling out over and over again. Like, all governments who are feigning, concern for now the civilians in Gaza who are being starved. Of course, they're not saying they're being starved. They just say they're starving. And even the humanitarian organizations, you're waiting in line at Rafah. Egypt is colluding with Israel in keeping Rafah closed. But everybody is allowing Israel to dictate what gets into a people they are actively, deliberately starving and exterminating. And this is just kind of a crazy world order. In what world do you allow a country on trial for genocide to control what gets in, what aid can get into a people they're exterminating? It's and so we're repeatedly calling out, like, sending aid is not enough. Saying that you're trying to get aid and not enough. You need to challenge. You need to break the siege. Israel has no right to dictate what gets in and out of Gaza. And so, you want to send aid, you put them on the boats and come with us. We are going to go again. But now to answer your question, so after I radioed and I told the Israeli Navy this, they did not respond. The ships were getting closer. It was a matter of minutes, and so I, said, we have to prepare for an imminent attack. We, myself and the crew went down to join everybody else. We were in the wheelhouse. We went down to join everyone else, and we basically got into position. We had prepared for all kinds of scenarios, and certainly this violent attack or interception was one of them. Israel, anyway, had jammed by that point the VHF radio. I couldn't communicate on it anymore with any boats. I had managed to put out a mayday for all boats to help us say we're under attack. But then the radio just went, all I could hear was static, and they cut our GPS, so we couldn't even navigate anymore. And as you know, they cut the internet. So, and it was dark, and we were surrounded by naval vessels. Then they started jumping on, their commandos started raiding our boats. We lost count. There were dozens of armed and masked. Like, you could not, obviously they all had their face covered. They were all carrying a variety of different weapons, and they were carrying cameras, because then also started their own filming for their own propaganda purposes. They, they tried to talk in a very, gentle way with us so they can film themselves. Their cameras were rolling as they jumped on, and they said that they have a doctor and they have food and water, which we rejected and told them, nope, not being part of your propaganda, and not taking not taking anything from an entity that is deliberately denying food and water from children in Gaza. You're deliberately starving Gaza. Don't think our lives are more important, and we're not going to be part of your propaganda campaign. And we had gone on immediate hunger strike, refusing anything from them, refusing any food and water. But you should have seen them. It's strange because I haven't seen their propaganda video out yet. But they were trying to force their food and water on us and putting it in front of people and taking video of
Really?
themselves. Yeah, videos, so
Wow.
some of you might know from our social media, beautiful, beautiful Norwegian grandma who was with us, setting it in front of her. And she's like, I don't want. And putting it in front of her, forcing it, just take it. She's like, I don't want it. But yeah, so I haven't seen, maybe we weren't cooperative enough for them to get any decent enough footage, but that's what they were doing. They weren't really rough with us on the boat, again, because they had their cameras rolling, and they were trying to film their own propaganda campaign. They took everything from us. So then they searched us, took all of our electronics, took all of our everything. So we could not really tell what time it was, how many hours we were on the boat. Maybe 10 hours or so before we arrived at the occupied Palestinian port of Ashdod. And then the military turned us over to the Israeli police. That's when they got really rough with Chris. I was separated, myself and another Bob Suwaidi. We have 48 citizenship, so Israel can't deport us. So they have to process us differently than they process everyone else. So that's why we were separated. But they took us into a separate room, and then I was able to see them push Chris up against a wall, and I started yelling and trying to get closer to Chris, and they dragged me out of the room. So I know I didn't see everything, but I know that he was roughed up and treated differently, in a very racist manner, different than everybody else. Then, for me, just briefly, Israel had two options. For me and Bob, they either prosecute us or they let us go. And for everybody else, they were going to deport them. And that's it. So the last two left today. They were held in conditions that were deplorable, bed bugs, no ventilation, no sanitary items. The U.S. did not visit at all. The U.S. Embassy or consulate did not visit at all. They were just
Nothing, huh?
nothing, no contact. And we tell them repeatedly, asked to see their consular officials, and they did repeatedly. The U.S. didn't even respond. Because they were on hunger strike, all of them, with the Madeleine, the like Thiago was on hunger strike and they put him in solitary. Because this time everyone was on hunger strike, they couldn't put them all in solitary, so they punished them by not letting them out. Really, no fresh air. They did not let them out, no yard time whatsoever, and nasty to them verbally and in other ways. But because we have to say, and obviously it's a horrible and unjustifiable way to be treated for what we were doing to try to uphold international law, humanitarian law, to be rated like this and to be held in these kinds of conditions and treated like criminals. But we really always want to emphasize not only eyes continue to stay on Gaza and why we were even in that situation, but also on Palestinian prisoners, over 10,000 currently. 80, we don't even have an exact number. I think it's 80 now that at least Israel admits to in the past 2 years that have been killed, died in Israeli prisons from torture, from starvation, and nobody is responsible for it. It's they don't have other governments, they don't have anyone advocating for them. It's like they disappear in Israel's dungeons, including kids, and they are being tortured. So because I are on internationals and they have governmental officials, they have consul representatives, even if the Americans don't respond. And for me and Bob, clearly their charges were ridiculous. They may have known themselves that they had no basis they were trying to say we illegally tried to enter Israel. Like, hey, you kidnapped us and brought us here against our will. We're operating according to international law. And so in the end, they released us with that. I wouldn't agree to any of their conditions. And so in the end, they kind of kicked us out of the police station.
Wow. There was, I believe, I don't know which of the members that were on board that I believe they said because this was his second time that if he was to join the flotilla again, that he would be charged in military court, if I'm not mistaken, or if he was to come again, they would take more severe actions because this was his second time, if I'm not mistaken. That's what we were hearing. Um, do you know who that was,
I
or if
didn't
this is
see that.
something?
Yes, I do know the person who was on the Madeleine, and he came again, Sergio, uh, from Spain. Uh, an amazing engineer who, the boat that we were on was kind of an old vessel that needed a lot of work, so we needed two engineers on board, and he was originally just supposed to help get the boat ready to go, but then when the captain said, "Yo, we kind of need you too," he's like, "Let's go." And we figured he might be treated more roughly again because this was his second time in 2 months. I haven't seen it yet. Of course, I was out of communication for a while, but I think I was locked out of a lot of my accounts because I don't have my old electronics with me anymore. But I did not hear that he got that threat. And actually, I met with one of the lawyers this morning. So it may be, but I did not hear that. And yes, Sergio was on the Madeleine and he was with us here, and he filed a lawsuit actually a few weeks ago in Spanish National Court against Netanyahu and his cohorts for the attack on the Madeleine. And not just for the attack on the Madeleine, but actually it's part of a long line of attacking human rights defenders in, as a means of upholding and being able to continue their genocide. And yeah, I think what the second attack on the Handala will just be used as more evidence to bolster the the case that he has now before the Spanish National Court. And we know that I did an event with an Italian attorney the other day also who has filed a lawsuit on behalf of the Italians who were on board. So we hope some people can also use their national courts to try to hold Israeli war criminals accountable. So yeah,
And
yes and no. There was, Sergio was with us again. I'm not sure if they actually threatened him to like stay away or not come again. I don't think anyone is, and none of Israel's threats are going to work. Before anyone gets on the boat, we do a training where everyone understands like the range of things that might happen, and everyone just firmly believes that we have to do this, and more people have to do this. So we're going to keep going.
And that was going to now this is this your third flotilla? Because I know you were on the Marmara and then there was this one was but you were also on the one prior to the Marmara, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, this is my eighth or ninth one.
Wow.
Sadly, sadly because it's just horrible that we've had to. It's been 17 years trying to break this blockade. The first in 2008, we were actually able to get into Gaza, and it was just kind of a beautiful moment where we were in high spirits that we might actually be able to do this and open a sea route and encourage states and organizations to come with us and do the same. But they didn't. So we kept sailing. And then the end of 2008, after Israel started Operation Cast Lead and started bombarding Gaza, we tried to send emergency boats, and Israel just started hitting us, almost capsizing two of our boats, and then seizing another one and kidnapping everybody. That is so after that was after all those after the free it was before we were the Freedom Flotilla Coalition. Back then, at the very beginning of this effort, we were a small group that had kind of uh, was founded from the international solidarity movement. To hope some listeners know, but a small number of activists from the international solidarity movement kind of formed the Free Gaza movement, and separately tried to start this form of direct action to break Israel's naval blockade. And so after Israel started hitting us, the end of 2008 into 2009, that's when we decided to try to escalate and form this coalition. A big coalition came together. We called ourselves the Freedom Flotilla Coalition. That was in 2010, and we launched that flotilla in May of 2010. That was like 7 ships and 700 volunteers on board and 10,000 tons of aid. And Israel lethally attacked that one, killing 10 of our colleagues. It didn't stop us, though. We continued sailing. Unfortunately, not only did our states not join, but they started really even actively colluding with Israel to stop us from even leaving port. And some people maybe were with us when we tried to launch a big flotilla last year. We had a cargo ship with 5,000 tons of aid. We were in Istanbul. We had hundreds of people ready to sail on 3 large vessels. And we faced a lot of bureaucratic sabotage, from pulling our flags to then the Turkish government not letting us go. So this is just some of the ways that governments
This
are
was
not only
this
not
one
breaking
was
the thieves themselves, but complicit with Israel.
now this was the closest time that you guys have gotten to Gaza. Is this flotilla that you the Handala flotilla the closest you've ever been? I think you guys were just about 70 miles out from Gaza, is that correct?
We were actually, I'm trying to remember the last I saw a GPS before it went out, about 59, 60 miles from the port that we were headed towards. We were heading towards Gaza City, but we were probably a little bit even closer, about 10 miles closer to any any Gaza land. So we were probably, I think,
Wow.
49 or so miles from Gaza. We were 59 miles, nautical miles from Gaza City, which we were headed to. Yeah.
A- And we've been hearing that there's already another flotilla getting ready to set sail sometime soon. There's a lot of questions and discussions around having more than one flotilla set sail. Is that something that you think could be doable? Or do you feel that if more were to set sail, let's say rather than one, let's say 5, that would result in Israel doing more of violent attacks on the flotillas themselves? But the question is, yes, is there another flotilla heading out soon, and why, or is there a possibility that you can do more than one flotilla at a time?
So, actually, flotilla does mean like 3 or more vessels, and we haven't been able to launch since we were blocked last year. We haven't been able to send more than one at a time. But a lot of people with this gruesome, just evil genocide that we've been witnessing are just like waking up to what's happening in Palestine, and with the Magdalene that we sent last month. I think mainly because the participation of Greta Thunberg and others like also may have not known about the history of the Freedom Flotilla Coalition, that we've been doing this for years. And so when they The Madeleine also awakened a lot of people and I think inspired some hope and potential. And so we have a lot of organizations now saying like, yes, let's send 1,000 Madeleines or 100 Madeleines or not. So I think some people have seen these announcements, which is um, good. We want more people to send, but you're right. The an escalation of boats would certainly mean an escalation of violence with Israel, and so we have been making ourselves like the Freedom Flotilla Coalition that has had this experience, trying to be helpful to other organizations and actively reaching out to them, those that want to try to organize boats so that we can organize something bigger. As the Freedom Flotilla Coalition, we will continue to organize in the way that we have been and try to escalate all the other groups that want to organize also to get votes. We welcome, certainly we welcome cooperation, and I know that a lot are currently talking and maybe even working about it. I don't have a date, I don't have any information that anyone is ready to go yet, but I do know that a lot of people have been inspired and want to do something similar, as we
And
should.
I've actually Yes, absolutely. And I've actually known some people that have applied to join the other, upcoming flotillas. What is a, qualification or something that if people did want to join, that you guys look out for in order to join and be on board the flotilla?
That's always the hardest. It's always one of the hardest parts in organizing this. And there are so many great, incredible people that want to go, and we get a lot of applications. The Freedom Flotilla Coalition is made up of a lot of national grassroots groups. So we have, at last count, like 15 or 16 groups. We have like US Boats to Gaza, Canadian Boats to Gaza. We have the South African Palestine Solidarity Alliance. We have, you know, Turkish partners, Swedish Boat to Gaza, and a bunch more. That's a Malaysian group. Anyway, 15 or 16 different groups that make up the coalition, and each one is kind of responsible for people who apply in their country or in their region to vetting people and then selecting. We try to get a diverse a balance, diverse people who can reach out to different communities, so we can reach people like beyond the people who we're already talking to. This time we had Chris, for example, who's a union organizer in the United States, helping us also reach out different communities. We had Hatem from Tunisia, who is part of La Via Campesina, grassroots kind of million-person strong land workers organization. So we do try to get a good diversity of nationality, although it ends up at this time we had 7 U.S. citizens, over a third of the people on board. We didn't mean for it to turn out that way, but by the time, a lot of people do apply, and then as it gets closer, something happens. So it's always it's just one of the most difficult parts of organizing this, is from all of the wonderful people who want to be on coordinating kind of schedules and having to not turn them away. We don't want to turn anyone away, but just in terms of being on board, we could use everybody's help. And I constantly say that it's way more than the people who are actually on board the ship. But some of the hardest work actually is being on the ground and doing the advocacy that helps bring attention to the limited number of people on board and doing what they're doing. So continue to apply each time. We, again, just try to get a good diversity and try to look at how people can help us reach out to different constituencies to wake them up as to what's going on and activate them. We try to also get people, this time we had 2 parliamentarians. Having parliamentarians or people who can, again, help bring more attention, who have big platforms, especially politically, is always useful, because we need to move the politics. We need to move the politicians. And we had Gabriel Catala, who was a member of the French Parliament, and we had also Emma, who was a young member of the European Parliament. So kind of having these 2 parliaments, their members involved, help put pressure there. These are just some of the considerations, but also people need to be in rather good health. It's not easy to be on those boats. Uh,
Yeah,
the,
was it 9 days, I believe, right?
we had a stop, but altogether, yeah, we were all together 9 days at sea, and it is very hot. And moving around the boat is also difficult when you get waves, when you have to go down some pretty steep ladders and stairs, and so yeah, a person's health is a factor. There's a lot of different factors that go into it, but don't let anything discourage anyone. Again, we need everyone to be part one way or another, whether you're on the boat or not.
Uh,
Completely
oh,
understandable to have people that are have more of a notoriety. Less chances of them saying, "Hey, we can go ahead and attack these people." So that's fully understandable why people that are more known in their communities would be chosen first. So, but I, I definitely would be interested in going in one of those boats if I could. That's
And we
amazing.
always need crew members. So if you have like crewing, if you're a captain or a sailor or a boat engineer, we're always looking for those. Because these are professionals who do this for a living, and they actually put their license and other things at risk doing work coming with us. But they do because they believe in what we're doing, and so it's like mad respect to these folks.
yeah, it is. It really is. And you never know what you're going to encounter when you are, faced against the, IDF and what they can do. Obviously, we know when Ken O'Keefe and what happened then during the Marmara, and 9 of those on board were, lost their lives from Israel. So, it's a sacrifice, but it's a sacrifice that honestly everybody should be doing. I know a lot of us say, "What more can we do?" And there is more that we can do, and we're not doing enough for everyone in Gaza. Before we go to the West Bank and discussing that, I wanted to kind of give a chance to see if anybody did have questions in regards to the flotilla. So go ahead, Eris. Eris, I think you had a question.
Yeah, number one, thank you for having me. I just got texted a question. Has Chris Smalls been released from Israeli custody so far?
Yes, Chris Smalls
Okay.
was freed this morning. The Israelis brought him to the Allenby King Hussein Bridge with Jordan. So he crossed over to Jordan. Again, we can't say enough, especially if you're Americans and you can harass the State Department, because all of the Americans were repeatedly asking for a consul representative, and the Americans ignored. Like, they did not send anybody. The French, Italian, Spanish, Australian, they had their people waiting at the port. They met their people at the bridge, those that went over to Jordan. They were just providing consular services. And I've known from the years I've worked in the occupied Palestinian territory, like when internationals get arrested, Europeans usually come see their citizens within 24 hours. The Americans always gave themselves like 72 hours before they had to go check up on the Americans to make sure they were okay. This time it was more than 72 hours and not a word from the American consulate. So absolutely shameful. Nobody met Chris, but he's with friends and our colleagues from the Freedom Flotilla Coalition, and he'll have a flight out tonight to the US.
Yeah, truly disgusting, honestly, how the State Department handled everything. One more question. As I was watching the footage of the IOF boarding the flotilla, when the second IOF officer got on the ship, it looked like he either hit someone or went to grab something. What had happened there?
I think that's probably when they took out our camera. We had a security camera that took, I think, the last footage that you saw. So I was trying to be live, like our Freedom Flotilla live went out. I was able to get on for a minute from my personal Instagram, and then that went out. But then we still had a security camera capturing some footage, and I think that that's what they took out. That might have been nobody on the boat, to the best of my knowledge, was hit. So it wasn't a person. I think it went for the camera.
Thank you, Huwaida. Thank you, Eris, for your question. I know Resistance, you just joined. I don't know if you wanted to ask any questions, but if you wanted to just kind of chime in, I'll give you a moment.
thank you, Taz. Thank you, Huwaida, for everything. You're a hero. I can listen. I can't talk much, but thank you for the invite, Taz. والله Huwaida, يعني, what is there to say to you? يعني, do you speak
That,
Arabic?
yes, yes, I speak Arabic.
بترفعي راسنا عن جد. What you went through
Anyway,
was just
مقصرين ضلنا مقصرين and we're just all trying to do what we can. This is kind of one thing that I have been doing, I can do, but like as long as
making a
we all do
difference.
what we can, we're, you know,
It's making a difference because it's reaching every conversation everywhere. So thank you for everything. But I'm here, I'm listening. Yeah, we keep going, inshallah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Conversation everywhere. So thank you for everything. But I'm here, I'm listening. Yeah, we keep going, inshallah.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh,
And
I think, is it my
no,
connection, guys, or?
I'm good.
Okay, can you guys hear Abid well?
I can. I think.
Okay. There we go, Abid. Welcome. Good to have you join us.
thank you. No, thank you for the invite, as I appreciate it. And I want to echo. Look, I want to thank Huwaida and the entire team and the efforts they're putting in. And for a lot of you youngins don't know, Huwaida's been doing this for many years. This is not her first rodeo at this, and she's been
But I'm only 19,
leading on the front
Abid.
lines.
Okay.
Nah,
I said I'm only 19. No,
right? But no, for real, as was just said. I mean, you make us proud. I mean, listen. At the end of the day, these are the efforts that are having the most impact, and it's the images, what we're seeing, what we're hearing. I mean, the fact you're able to do this to keep things going, to keep the pressure on. I mean, it seems to be this is what's working, and people got to understand. Everybody has their lane, everybody has their strategy. We gotta respect what others are doing and give space for what you're doing as well. I can't, like, of course, what ADC thinks of you, what the organization, the community, we highly value the work you do and you as a person, and appreciate everything you're doing, Huwaida. So whatever support we can offer, and also whatever calls to action you have that we can push out to our membership at this time, whatever we feel we could be doing. All of us should listen. I think anybody on here that's representing an organization or an entity in the movement or a group, follow the lead of Huwaida, follow the lead of folks, from Gaza, from Palestine, that can tell you exactly, hey, here's what's happening, here's what's going on. We can't depend on, and we should never depend on, quote unquote, like experts, from a think tank, right? Like those are the last people we want to depend on. Like really lean on people like Huwaida to get direction on what we should be talking about, the down to the language we should be using, and the actions we should be taking. So, I mean, there's so much to offer. We're very lucky to have you. So really appreciate everything you're doing, Huwaida. Thank you.
that's kind, Abid, but I really want to stress, like, it really is, as you said. I think everyone has their own lane. People are doing incredible stuff in the world of like art, music, politics, wherever you are. There's something you can be doing. I mean, even some of the most like local work, informing your neighbors. Sometimes we forget about even the power of that and people waking up to what's happening. And so it's all important. We've been, I moved to the occupied Palestinian territory right out of college, and just seeing it as a naive young like college graduate, I was just infuriated and got into nonviolent direct action, just confronting policies and trying to get the global community involved with Palestinians in doing this. Palestinians who've been doing it for decades and are always kind of vilified, and that's like remained part of my lane. But there's also, we're also doing the legal work, or you're doing the advocacy work and the legal work. It's all, as long as we're all doing what we can in our lane and supporting each other, that's what makes it powerful. So thank you. And I said, I couldn't certainly do what we're doing alone without all of this support, like Daz, offering this platform, helping people get informed, asking people to contact the American, even our own politicians, and be like, what support did you offer? What is the American government doing? It is really shameful, and it's not only the Americans. Americans fail on every level. But just so you guys know, the last day before we were attacked, I mean, even though I know this, it just increased my fury at the level of complicity. So all of these other countries that I told you did provide consular services to their nationals, they did, and they contacted them while they were even on the boat, saying, "Hey, we've been in touch with the Israeli, foreign ministry, and this is what's going to happen. And don't worry, we'll provide you with consular services," which really outraged us. It's like, how about you not worry about consular services and tell Israel not to attack us? You're legitimizing Israel's piracy in the Mediterranean, because that's what Israel is telling you, that they're going to kidnap us from international waters against international law, bring us against our will, and detain us. And you're like, oh yeah, we'll provide consular services to you. That is the level of complicity, and that is why, again, Israel's given free rein to do whatever, constantly violating international law. And I think the Europeans who were contacted by their consular officials were like, thank you, but this is outrageous, and are pushing that. Americans didn't even do that. So no consular services, and they allowed Israel to pirate us. The UK, our boat was flagged in the United Kingdom. We're repeatedly calling on the United Kingdom we're like, hey, this is sovereign UK territory. Warn Israel not to attack you in international waters. They don't. This just all needs to be, we need to continually just call this out, because we're getting all this concern from now politicians who it's uncomfortable for them to see photos of emaciated babies. Maybe it's not good for their image, and so they're saying some stuff about, oh, let's get
Yeah.
food into Gaza. But this isn't about getting food into Gaza. How about you stop giving weapons? How about you start sanctioning Israel, etc.? So we just can't let them off the hook. We need to keep pushing in every way that we can, and we'll keep trying to direct action challenge, but everything else that everyone does to make it effective and to keep going is all good. So I actually get really uncomfortable. People say, thank you, because no thanks, we all need to be doing this, and we're all doing our part.
Because I've got only a couple of minutes and I need to drop because I'm going to lose connection. Assalamu alaikum, and honestly, what you've done, I don't think anything can even explain how, it's such an honor to be able to actually get to speak to you and share the same platform with you. What I wanted to ask you is the following: is in regard of what happened with you guys trying to get to Egypt, I believe, and then you changed route last minute, and then the communication with the Egyptian government to get into Egyptian territory. Did that work, or what happened exactly?
Okay, if I heard you right, you were asking about us changing route and heading towards Egypt. Yeah, that was a call I kind of made. We were seeing, just to explain, so it was dark. We were seeing these ships, strange activities on the radar coming towards us. We weren't sure if this was the Israeli Navy or not. And the Israeli Navy was not responding to us. So I asked the captain to change route, to head south, so that and to see if they followed us. That was one thing. And then the other thing is seeing if we could enter Egyptian territorial waters to sail safely within, safely meaning we'd be in Egyptian territorial waters, and if Israel was going to attack us there, they'd have to violate Egyptian sovereignty, which they probably would have done, to attack us. So I did try to radio Port El Arish to say, look, this is who we are. We're carrying humanitarian aid for the children in Gaza being starved, and we're being threatened by the Israeli Navy. So can we sail in Egyptian territorial waters for safety? Their answer wasn't clear, and it took them a while to get back to us. And then even their final answer wasn't clear. I think they told us to proceed to Anchorage, which means to dock in El Arish. And we had no intention of docking in El Arish. We wanted to sail just through their territorial waters on the way to Gaza. And we didn't end up doing that because we didn't have a clear okay, and I certainly didn't want to be detained by the Egyptian authorities.
Thank you, Elmo. All right, we'll go to Amani.
Sorry about my morning voice, but I couldn't
Good
miss
morning.
listening to you guys. First of all, big W, big W for making it, for even getting on the boat, and actually for making it past where Madeline was stopped. Hopefully, inshallah, the next boat does the same thing, but past where you guys were intercepted. I don't know if you guys already talked about the conditions that what they did to y'all, and I don't know what you can and cannot speak of yet, but I did just read the WhatsApp group, and we were worried about Chris Smalls. So him and the last one are finally out. What do you think about what they did to Chris Smalls and the other members and stuff like that? Like, we've been posting about him the whole time because we found out he was the first one to be abused and tortured. I don't know if that's true, but I think that's kind of messed up. I don't know if it was because of the skin of his color, or what do you think?
Yeah, no, definitely. We feel that he was singled out for racist treatment. Absolutely. He was roughed up. He had marks on his neck and on his legs kicking him. They screwed around with him too, like verbal abuse. Everybody was held in just really deplorable conditions. It was unsanitary, bed bugs. They didn't allow them any ventilation. They didn't allow them any kind of yard time because everyone was on hunger strike. We didn't want to take anything from the authorities really starving Gaza to death. And because there was this collective hunger strike, they collectively punished them and wouldn't allow anyone any air, yard time, any fresh air, and just were verbally abusive, physically the most with Chris. And it was, yeah, it was really racist treatment. And also when it came to his flight out, being freed, as of yesterday, there were 3 Americans left, and 2 of them got on the same flight, which Chris should have and could have also been on. But they screwed around with him and waited to this morning to then send him to Amman, and then they put him on a flight that would have taken him from Amman to Dubai, and then Dubai way back, and not have him get in until Saturday morning. Like, for what? So they definitely racist treatment there. The fact that the U.S. government hasn't spoken up is deplorable. But that's what they did, and that should totally be called out. I think we really prepared people for this bad treatment. And one of the things I said is, as horrible as it is, we want people to also know that because you guys are following and people are putting pressure and people are amplifying the stories of the people who are on the Handala, it's helpful. It really helps. But the over 10,000 Palestinian political prisoners don't have that, and they're being tortured, and nobody, like Israel, accountable to no one. And in the past 2 years, at least 80 Palestinian political prisoners that we know of. I'm sure there are more that Israel's not even admitting, who have been killed from torture and starvation in Israel's dungeons. So we are grateful for all of this support, want to constantly kind of bring attention to what Palestinians go through, not only in Gaza while we're at sea, but also when you're talking about being held in captivity by the Israeli occupiers. So yes, everyone is out now. Chris was definitely singled out for abuse, and definitely Israel should be called out for this racist treatment. I did talk to him shortly after he was freed, and he said, he's like, we knew this was going to happen, and we knew, and yeah, we did, because we say, look, there are profiles of people who are more vulnerable, who Israel is going to behave more racist to, who are more vulnerable because of the color of their skin, and unfortunately, it happened.
Wow.
We have been calling the U.S. Embassy since this whole thing started. We had Casey call a news channel for Jacob when he got sent home. We've been doing everything that we can on our side, and I'm so glad that Chris Smalls got released this morning. I think it's stupid that they sent him to Jordan. Obviously, they did that on purpose.
Yeah, yeah. But thank you so much for all those calls. We need those are so important. Thank you.
Is there
Yeah,
anything
no
that
problem.
Chris can do, when he arrives in America, in regards to the lack of response from the embassy, the lack of, um, immediate action that the United States did not help with Chris? Is there anything that he can do? Obviously, you're an attorney, so what actions can he take against, both America and Israel for what he's encountered?
Well, I'm going to throw this one over to Abed because I've been talking a lot, but to say I think the best thing is to highlight it, to just put it out there, talk about it as much as you can in the media, expose it and make sure as members of Congress know, maybe as members of Congress can also file complaints with the State Department. But Abed, also because you work in the legal and advocacy space, do you have any suggestions?
So the first half of the question I missed. It was what I assume what actions we can take
Well, what actions can Chris, yeah, is there anything that
It's,
Chris can do, against
yeah.
both the American embassy and also against Israel for the abuse and the assault that he experienced?
Look, the anyone can take an action, right? How successful it is and how much he would want to deal with when he gets back. You got to remember that this is, and I can't speak on their behalf, but this is a traumatic experience. This is something where once an individual gets back and they've gone through this, he's going to need space and time to think about the next moves, but they probably have to be calculated very carefully and, also done with merit, right? You don't want to do something or bring a legal action or a lawsuit which, is not done properly or not filed properly or doesn't have like the right angle to it. So I think any move or any decisions probably got to be well thought out and pull in a few experts to help. Off the top of my head, look, I don't have much faith in the legal system. As a lawyer, that may surprise a lot of people, but I truly don't. I don't look at the legal system as something that is we can lean on anymore right now, especially under this administration and what we're seeing in the courts and the judges. And this is part of the bigger game and the larger game that they have. And we can file complaints with State Department. He can, be outspoken, be vocal about it. We can try to hold elected officials accountable about it. We can try to make this an item for, future, folks running for office in the future. Where do they stand on something like this? Like, be strategic in that way. He could be, lead efforts on that if he chooses. But in general, this is something that I think we have to keep going. And while you were talking, I'm reading a tweet by Marjorie Taylor Greene, right, which is a better, very well written
Yes.
tweet. So you're starting to see a change on both sides, or you're starting to see a change on like at least like the Republican side. But that's still not enough. It's like the words and the tweets and these comments. Okay, it's good. We're going in this direction, but to get some tangible change, that's gonna take a heavy lift and a heavy effort here. Ultimately, I think legal challenges, they do have to be brought. They do have to be brought, but we've got to be careful in how how we're bringing them and what the basis is for them and whatnot.
Just want to add in quickly. We had two of our TikTok people here actually pull up on Cory Booker. And I don't know if y'all seen that video. It's been going viral a little bit, but they pulled up on him. They were like, Chris Smalls was the only Black man to experience torture from the Israeli government. And he was like, really? I'm going to have to look into that. Something has to be done. So I don't know where that's going to go, but that video is around on TikTok. So there was that. And also, Huwaida, I want you to know people from New York are going to be there for Chris when he lands, and the other U.S. person. Once they land in Newark, we're going to pull up. So just want y'all to know that.
So thank you. You might have not been on when two American citizens landed this morning, and Jacob actually went out to meet them. So Chris is going to be the last one, and his flight was changed because we didn't want him to go the route that Israel planned for him. They would take him to Dubai and not have him land until Saturday morning. So his flight was changed, and he's not landing in Newark anymore. It is check double the Freedom Flotilla Coalition should put this out on one of our channels, but I'm pretty sure it was changed to 9 a.m. JFK instead of Newark, like 8:40. I think it was.
You said that you guys will post it on the different social media accounts, correct? For everyone to continue to make sure that they're there?
Yeah, because we've been showing the other flyer that they've been having for him, that red one. So yeah, I'm going to go check it out. Jay, I got you, girl, because Jay was about to pull up.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
As I was getting on the TikTok, I was seeing that our team just changed his flight so he wouldn't have to go that circular whatever route. So it was changed. I don't know if it's been announced yet, but it's definitely been changed.
Thank you, A-Money. We'll make sure to keep track on that and any updates to share it for anybody that is going to be out there to welcome Chris back. Go ahead, Casey, and then we'll go to Sevda.
Hi. So again, your work is truly amazing, but I wanted to ask you something, and I think that you answered it earlier because you said that they came in onto the boat with their cameras for their own propaganda purposes. Now, once those cameras were off, do you remember anything that they told you? Like I'm very curious. I know others are curious because we heard that there was a lot of verbal abuse, but is there anything that you remember from the top of your head of something that they mentioned to you or to the other crew members?
No, no, we didn't really engage them in a lot of any kind of dialogue. They didn't, I don't know if they turned their cameras off. There were almost as many cameras as there were commandos on that ship, which is pathetic. And I think it just goes to show, they know they sent out all these commandos and these naval warships to stop a little bitty, tiny boat carrying baby formula for children. And so in Gaza were being deliberately starved. And so they were interested in making their own kind of propaganda video, which I haven't seen yet. I don't know if those cameras went off. We didn't ignore them. Aside from telling them, we don't want your food and water, you are deliberately starving in Gaza. Why don't you let food and water into Gaza? We didn't engage them very much at all. It's unfortunately, I mean, like everybody in the end, we're human beings. So certainly they don't behave like it a lot of times, certainly not what we're seeing. It's just we made the collective decision that it's not really very effective, or it's kind of a waste of time to try to engage them or to get through to them. If they felt like they were in the right to raid this little boat, like literally the boat had teddy bears all around it, because we were mainly carrying food, as much food as we can carry on that little boat, which is not a lot. But once it was packed we couldn't take any more, people in Italy, which is where we launched from, still wanted to donate. And I was like, look, we could probably take stuffed animals. They're light. We can put them around the boat. And so all of these kids in Italy brought their stuffed animals. Some bought them, but some brought, some of their favorite stuffed animals to donate to kids in Leslie. And so we took as many as we can, stuffed animals all around the boat. If these commandos felt like them raiding this boat filled with like stuffed animals and 21 civilians is like they were in the right doing that, what are our words going to do to them? So we just didn't engage them.
Well, honestly, they are, wallahi, they are from the synagogue of Satan. هذول ولاد الشيطان 100%. They know that the boat has baby formula, and that is why they are boarding the boat. Yesterday, Taz, right? We had one of the Jewish supremacists on the panel, and they said, "What? Yes, our blood is worth more than non-Jews," and that's the problem that we are hearing. That is the problem that we are seeing when Jewish supremacy takes over and it rules. This sort of "my blood is more pure than yours, so I am worth more" begins to reign over their people, and we are suffering because of it.
Yeah, and it's so. Like on the boat again, because they had their cameras rolling and they wanted to just show how humanitarian they were. That was one thing. But the next day after I was freed, I went to the West Bank to Al Khair, where the Israelis it was an Israeli settler who shot dead a beloved community member, he was a 31-year-old father of 3 young boys, a pillar of the community of this small hamlet. And a notorious settler who's actually is sanctioned by 8 countries right now, who owns all of these land movers and brought in his bulldozers and taking over more Palestinian land, and just took out his gun, private gun, and shot Aude al-Hathalin to death. He died on arrival to the hospital. And not only that's horrific as it is, he was arrested, but then he was released. Who knows if he will face, if you go on, what Israel usually does, it does not, Israelis don't face any repercussions for killing Palestinians. But the next day I went to Al Khair because there was a mourning tent and to pay my respects. But not only was Israel trying to shut down the morning tent, but all of these soldiers came in and they were just brutal and ruthless and trying to kick out anyone who wasn't from the community. They did not want them to be mourning. They did not want them to have any kind of solidarity. They wanted to get everyone out. And because we were trying to protest a little bit at first, but then they threatened the community members, right? They have their guns and they can do whatever. So we were making our way out just so they wouldn't take it out on the community members. And apparently we weren't going fast enough. So they started throwing grenades at us and pushing us with their rifles and just saying horrific things. And I'm just trying to, again, when it comes to trying to reason with them, saying, what do you think you're doing? They just lost a community member. You're pointing your gun at women and children who are mourning. And he's like, yeah. And then he's cussing at me and whatnot. This is supremacy. Like, they feel no remorse, nothing in doing this. And then that night we managed to have a couple of people. In fact, someone who was with me on the boat is still there. And they raided the community at night, and they arrested 8 more community members. And then they raided the next night and arrested 4 more community members. And they wanted to make them own. They finally returned the body of Huwaida, and they wanted to tell the family that they could only have like 15 people max at his burial. And the family refused. They're like, no, they're not having his burial until all the community members are released. It basically, and it just remains to be seen. Every day I'm getting an update about more horrors and more raiding this small community that already has no infrastructure because Israel does not allow them to build. And now they're expanding their settlements, taking over more of their land. Again, they don't even have proper homes. They're not connected. This community is not connected to services, water pipelines, etc. Because Israel does not want them there. They're on their land.
Yeah.
Israel's trying to push them out.
They actually, it's almost daily. We actually had Sam Stein, who does protective presence there, and he has spoken about this specific settler. And for everybody that hasn't heard yet, he was actually released. I think it was the next day. So this is how the IDF and Israel protect these Israeli settlers and encourage them to continue to attack the Palestinian villages. We're going to actually play some of that clip of what you recorded, Huwaida, from Musafir Yatta real quick so everybody can see. So it's the middle one with the soldier. So please, guys, continue to protect the live and click the orange heart and continue tapping. Yes, that one. Thank you, A Money. We can't hear. Oh, you're on mute.
Me thinking I was on mute. My bad. 1 second.
Here in Musafir Yatta and Khair, where yesterday an Israeli settler shot dead one of the residents, a 31-year-old father of 3 young kids. Now, soldiers are in here telling people that there are no internationals and no foreigners are allowed to be here. What? Excuse me, I don't understand Hebrew. What they're doing is really threatening to harm the community if the internationals and the Israeli activists don't leave. And that is because they don't want witnesses here to what they are doing to the community. More soldiers here. They're saying that this is a closed military zone. You want to tell us why?
No, I don't want to tell. Go out.
Because you have arms and guns and you can do what you want?
Close this. Go out.
You don't care that you are threatening women and children? No, this is your job?
You want
I want to use force.
You want to use force? Why?
I don't want to use force. Please.
But you are using force. You're not letting me sit with the women here who have just lost a family member. Why are we threatening to you? I'm leaving because I don't want you to hurt them.
Yes, good.
Okay, but you should be ashamed of what you're doing. No, you should be ashamed of what you're doing. You exist just to threaten people. Yeah. If you were proud of what you're doing, you wouldn't be masked like this. I'm not wearing a mask, you are. Again, we're in the village of Al Khair in the Masafriyat area. Look at these soldiers that are threatening a community that just lost a community member, one of their settlers. I left where you told me to leave. No. Yeah, you keep doing that. You think you're big and strong? You come with these weapons against kids. Yes. You killed a father yesterday. Yes. Yep. Yes. The whole world sees what you're doing. Yep. Okay. Is this how you were raised? To threaten kids with guns and to kill civilians? Yeah, say that. Is this what your military teaches you? Yes. Yeah. The Israeli army teaches you to kill kids? Yes, that's on record. Thank you. The Israeli military teaches you to kill kids? Okay. Great.
Thank you. Oh, is it?
Okay, stop pushing me. Stop pushing.
Oh my
Sorry, I
gosh.
had a call. It's almost done.
Okay, stop using your violence. God, you are the most violent people on earth. Oh. You don't see yourself how the rest of the world sees you. Yes. Stop pushing people. Get that gun away from me. Get your rifle away from me. Those are American guns paid for by my tax dollars. Okay. Yeah. Go.
Wow.
I think that's basically it.
Thank you so much, Imani, for showing that. Yeah, just one second, Janine. So thank you, Amani. I think everybody should head over to Huwaida's Instagram. This is on her Instagram page and continue to push it out. I wanted to ask you, Huwaida, did they ask to see your Hawiya at all when you first arrived, or when in this entire encounter prior? Because I wonder if maybe usually, right, if it was somebody from like the West Bank, let's say, or maybe because you had a camera recording the whole time, they would actually use even more physical, violence. They wouldn't even tolerate it for a second. Obviously, we saw that they were pushing you, they were getting somewhat aggressive. Did they ask for your Hawiya at all prior?
Yeah, I didn't even record when they threw sound grenades at us.
Oh my
Which
gosh.
sound grenades is yeah, I think I don't think I caught that. One was so close to me. I thought it pierced my pants, but it was fine. But just, you can see them playing with the pins of their grenades and just waiting to throw it at us, even though we had left the village. And or where they tried to kick us out of. We just, again, weren't going way fast enough. They arrested at least one Israeli. And yeah, they had asked to see kind of my passport. And you're right. I mean, if it was, I may look maybe the way I was dressed or whatnot, that I'm not from any nearby village and whatnot. So they were, that looked aggressive, but less aggressive than they are with Palestinian residents. So
Yeah, I agree 100% because we've seen, by the way, guys, this is happening every single day. I'm sure you guys have heard of the documentary No Other Land. That one that was that was actually killed by the Israeli settler. He was an activist who helped film No Other Land in Masafir Yatta. And this is happening every single day. So it's very important to continue to speak on Musafir. I know there's a lot of organizations that have continued to highlight Musafir, and so please do not forget what is going on. The settler raids are every single day. They'll steal their sheep. They'll burn their crops. It's really, really bad. So I'm glad that you're safe, Huwaida. And I'm so sorry that you experienced that, but alhamdulillah, you're okay. And I'm so proud of you. You went from, getting off the Handala flotilla, and just a few days later, you went to Musafir Yatta. And this is really so you are a brave woman, and wallahi, a hero to so many. And I just want you to know that so many people are following in your footsteps, and continue to do what you're doing. We're so proud of you. Let me just give a chance for our brother Sirdah, who's in Gaza, before he has to go. He wanted to ask a question.
I don't want to ask a question. MashaAllah, you asked a lot of a question. I'm just here I'm sorry today. Well, I have an emergency situation, but I tried my best to be here and to tell you. First of all, thank you, Taz, for always for having an amazing people like Huwaida. And Huwaida, I am telling you, we are so proud of you. Wallah al-Azim, يعني literally, we are so proud of you. You are doing an amazing job. We are so glad you are safe, and all the crew in Handala, all of you are safe. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, ala salamatkum. You are doing an amazing job. You are keep exposing this occupation and keep doing this pressure. Maybe you will not feel like we are make different, but you are making a huge difference, step by step, and until Palestine will be free at the end. My message for you: be strong. We always will support you, and everyone in Gaza listen to you and heard your voice and supporting your actions, and every one of us so proud of you, wallah. Thank you very much. I should go now. I wish if I can listen more to you are talking. You are an amazing person, but unfortunately I should go now. So thank you very much,
Thank you,
and
Sirdah.
inshallah we will meet each other
thank
inshallah in
you.
Gaza when this end and all Palestine will be free inshallah.
Inshallah,
Assalamu
thank you.
alaikum.
Allah yqawwiku, and hope to see you soon. We're going to keep trying to get to you.
Inshallah, we will have inshallah a lunch, a Ghazawi inshallah summagiya together in Gaza.
Oh,
Inshallah, just be strong and keep going, and at the end Palestine will be free inshallah. If it's not today, it will be tomorrow inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa
wa
barakatuh
alaikum assalam,
everyone,
Sirdah. Thank you.
and thank you for this chance. Thank you very much.
Oh, oh man. See, Huwaida, you're getting me emotional.
Ah,
People in Gaza were watching that boat that whole week, by the way. I want you to know that.
Oh my goodness.
They were watching you every single day.
Yeah, I know.
I
Um,
was,
Huwaida,
it's,
welcome home. Alhamdulillah, salamtik. Well,
hey, Nader, how are you?
good, alhamdulillah. You're not home yet, right?
I'm home in Palestine.
Oh, you are?
she is home.
Oh, I wasn't sure if you were one of those that had to go through Jordan or not. So You're still there. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. I was saying earlier they can't deport me, because I have 48 citizenship. So you're gonna have to prosecute me or
That's
let me go.
right. That's right.
48?
Well, Huwaida,
Yeah.
thank you for everything. Thank you for everything. And
Uh,
Yani, I don't know what to say.
no thanks, guys. Come on now. No thanks. We're all doing what we can.
We were on my live on TikTok. We were airing the seizure of the boat live, and
Wow.
and I spoke with Jacob yesterday. Um, I want everybody to understand that what you guys have done is what everybody needs to be doing in their own capacity, which is let everyone know what is happening there on the ground in Gaza, and we need to be spreading this message, regardless of whether somebody can get on a flotilla or not. You have given so many people so much hope in realizing that they can also be doing something to raise awareness, and that I commend you for that, and the crew. Inshallah, we all pray for the safety of the return home for everyone on that crew. And I've talked to so many people in the last couple of days since the capture, and man, your mission was a success. It was a success, and I know it didn't go the way it was intended to go. But I know that part of the main intention was to raise awareness, and you have been successful at that. So, I commend you for that. Allah atik al afia. Every and inshallah we'll see you soon. Inshallah, are you planning on coming back to the States soon?
Yeah, I don't know. We got to work on the next flotilla, but I'll be there. I've been away from my kids for a while, so
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah, they
Well,
give their mom a
inshallah,
lot of grace.
inshallah, I'll be in Detroit and Dearborn over the next couple events that are happening there. So inshallah, if we get a chance to
Yes,
see you
we
or
have the
Adam,
Palestinian Youth, the People's Conference, the Palestinian
yes,
Youth Movement. Yeah, you guys, everyone, we have Palestinian Youth Movement's Palestine or the People's Conference. We have ADC's Arab Con also coming up, so both in Detroit. So hopefully you guys can come out. I'm going to try to be there for both. Yeah.
inshallah. And
Yeah,
if
well,
you're if you're
definitely.
if you're unable to make it, I mean, Adam Bisid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Adam represents.
Yeah. All right. Well, I
Uh,
just wanted
My
to say
daughter's also a
hello.
pretty good rep.
I'm going to step
It's
down,
good to see
and
you.
I saw you here, and thanks, Taz, for making this possible. Appreciate you, and we'll
thank
see
you,
you soon,
Nadir.
inshallah. Inshallah.
Thank you so much, Nadir. Thank you. Um,
Thank you.
we'll go to Janine. Go ahead, Janine.
Alhamdulillah, salamtik, Ruwaida. Thank you
All right,
again
Salome.
for just your bravery and showing how strong Palestinian women are and resilient. I truly appreciate that. Um, One question, how does one get affiliated with the flotilla services in regards to like even going on the flotilla? That's what I would like to know because it's not fair to just keep relying on the same people all the time. The rest of us, especially like myself included, I have the time and I am willing to do the same as you. And so how would one go about getting affiliated with that?
So we have different member groups to the coalition. We are the Freedom Flotilla Coalition, and we have member groups. And um, it, one of those groups is the UA. We're called the U.S. Boats to Gaza. We have a website. I think the application might still be up on our website. I was explaining earlier that we usually get way more applications than spaces that we have because we are a coalition of 15 or maybe 16 now different groups, and we try to take people from around the world and different profiles and different reaches, different communities, just so we can outreach to different people. I never want to obviously discourage anyone from going, but I always say, especially to Palestinians, that let us see where, because this is unfortunately that the struggle is a long one. And we have to make sure that we are doing the best that we can to make sure that we can continue to serve in the best way that we can. And one of the ways is, keeping a connection to our homeland. So many people in the past, and I'm just bringing this up again, it's not to discourage anyone at all, just so people can be aware. If you are Palestinian and only get into Palestine with the visa, like you don't have a Huwaida or anything else, and you do visit Palestine, like you have friends and you have or family here, that connection is really important. And being on a boat could mean being banned for a long time, because everyone that was
Wow.
deported, I have citizenship in 48, they can't ban me, right?
What if you
And
have a
then that,
Hawaiian?
but if you
Like a
have a
Palestinian
Hawaii,
Hawiya though,
Yeah, a
not the blue
Palestinian
not
ID.
one.
You know what
48.
I'm? Yeah.
Yeah. Then you're also in more dangerous territory, because they will not treat you according to your American or whatever passport. They'll treat you as a Palestinian from the West Bank or Gaza, wherever your Hawiya is from, and you will probably be subjected to Israeli military law, which we know is scary, and they're torturing people. And like is that where you're most useful, being on board the ship, as far as like everything else that you're doing that you can do? And if you, like I said, if you're a Palestinian that doesn't have any OE and you're just getting to Palestine, and that connection is so important. Like I know I gave birth to my kids in Palestine, so I can give them my 48 citizenship, even though their father couldn't be there because their father is banned. So my husband Adam can't get in, and he was not able to be at the birth of both of his kids, but we thought it was important to give them the citizenship so that Israel can't ban them like they haven't been able to ban me, and so we can keep the connection to the land. So I try to, make use of that, but if you don't have that and you're only getting in on a visa, you have to think that you will be banned. All the internationals now that were deported are probably have at least 10-year bans.
Wow. 10-year bans.
At least, in fact, the lawyer was just telling me this morning that she was trying to understand from the administrative judge how long are these bans for, and all she could get was like at least 10 years. What does that mean? 20 years, 30 years, at least 10 years.
So what more can we do from here? Like I feel like okay, the TikTok debates are fine, the protesting is wonderful, but what more can we do from where we are right now? Because we have like you just said right now, if someone like me, my hands are tied considering my status, um, like with my paper with my passports and stuff. So what can I do? Because I don't think it's fair that I'm just sitting down in the privilege of my home while people like you are out there and struggling and taking time from your kids. We should be able to do the same.
Well, I mean, I know it kind of feels that way, and it's, but I really do honestly mean it when I say, that those of us who are on the boat, is like it's part of it. It's not the most actually important part, because without everybody who's amplifying it, then we're nothing. We're 21 people on a boat, sailing to confront the Israeli Navy. We really need people making the calls and amplifying. And amplification might seem like it's nothing, and people might kind of downplay the importance of even having a little circle with your friends at work or your neighbors who might not know or whatnot, because awareness, and more people are becoming aware right now, but also connection to people who are more tied to it. We really shouldn't underestimate the power, because we need more people to know, we need more people to care, and then we need more people to act on it, right? So some people now can't ignore the images coming out of Gaza, and it's horrific that it's taken like a live stream genocide to wake some people up, but it has. Then because the situation just seems so overwhelming and so enormous, like what can I do? Okay, that's happening, but we can't feel disempowered. We have to know that we have power, especially if we're living in a country where we elect our representatives who need to be accountable to us. So our voices are loud, and they need to be louder. That we need to change our policy, right? I, for years, was working with internationals in the West Bank and in Gaza, and while Palestinians were so grateful for internationals coming, the thing that they were saying more than anything else is just please go back to your own country, change your government policy. And I know that's a lot, but doing that political work is really important. I mean, it starts with education and mobilization, and it might not seem like enough, but we're doing the action that it's one part of it. Without everything else, without the awareness building and the political mobilization, then it's nothing. It's just, it's just a direct action that is not going to be as powerful. So I guess I really want to stress that, because I don't want anyone to think that, you're not doing as much because you're not on a boat or something. The political work, the awareness, sometimes that's even harder than being on a boat. But we must do it. And I think it's being done. We just can't feel disempowered, or that I think things are never going to change. They are changing. We just have to keep pushing. And it's, again, so important. So if you're doing that, if you're amplifying, if you're doing the political work, it's doing a lot. Honestly, it's like my opinion.
Thank you, Huwaida. And there's a lot that people can do. Just if they want to go to Palestine and assist in any way, like there's upcoming olive harvest delegations that I know to go and protect those during their olive harvesting season coming up in October. There's so many things that we can do that would be a little bit more different to help protect the people on the ground in Palestine against the settlers. So there is a lot that we
Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
Let me definitely plug. How did I forget to do that? Sorry. Yes, thank you. International Solidarity Movement, another group that's I've worked with for many years, and that's close to my heart, and that is here on the ground, that is in Masafariata right now, that is in other places, and they do the olive harvest. And we started the ISM to provide support to the Palestinian popular resistance. Right now, a lot of it is just being able to stay on your land and facing these daily settler and soldier attacks. So being with the community is so important. So look up if you want to come to
Do you
be
have
on the
any
ground.
delegations coming up for people to like join and be there?
We don't do delegations. We
Okay.
used to do, like in the very beginning when we started, like specific campaigns. And I don't know if we're calling for like an olive harvest specifically campaign, but we do accept people like year round. There is a process. You can find it on the ISM website, which is PAL solidarity.org, PAL Solidarity. That's the International Solidarity Movement. And you can, on there is like how to come. They do have regular virtual orientations and training before you even get here. And then when you get here, you'll join one of the community presences and just be with the community and document. And that solidarity is also very, very important. As you saw from the video, they don't want us here, but we're going to insist. And some people do end up getting deported, but as much as we can be with the people here and help the Samud, it's important. So please. And I know there are other, I think, organizations that do similar stuff. The one I'm most familiar with is the International Solidarity Movement.
Who she is a co-founder of. Didn't so amazing work, Huwaida. Okay, we'll go to Mac and then Toby, and then hopefully we'll wrap it up from there.
Hello, I just want to say thank you for everything you've done. I've watched you guys a few days before you took off. I saw one of you guys talking about it, and I saw what was going on with Greta and her. So I was worried for you guys, but thank you, and I'm so glad everyone's safe, except for the two that are still there, and I'm going to be calling soon about getting them out, as much as I can do. I'm going to tell.
They're out. Yeah.
Wow. Praise God. That's amazing. I just wanted to share also with your question, the person before me that was talking, what we can do. I accidentally made friends going on lives with TikTok of families in Gaza, and she's 21 and her family's passed away. She has 9 younger siblings, and so she reached out to me to start a fundraiser for her, and I had no idea how to do it. I kind of told her, no, I have a lot going on here with my family, but she just kept asking me. She's like, please, my other one got no money. And so I was able to make a few TikToks. I'm nothing popular at all, but and it got the word out, and so I'm able to spread hers, and then I'm able to, I can't make any more personally, but I'm able to show people if they want to do it themselves. If anyone wants to, DM me, and I can help any way I can. And I reach out to a few other people on TikTok who have been helping families since the war started. Because it's been really challenging with the banks. They won't allow us to send money. They won't work with your guys' banks. A lot of apps like PayPal shuts down, and it's terrible. I have a no buy day flyer on my page about nothing in American except for small and local business. If anyone's interested, and thank you. Stay blessed, stay safe, and please keep
Thank you,
spreading your message.
Mac.
You've given me so much strength just as a 27-year-old American girl. Thank you.
Oh,
Awesome.
thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Mac.
You're
Again, everybody's, has a role, whether if you feel like even it's if something small, just even a share or just talking like you mentioned, Huwaida, to your neighbor or your coworker, that in itself is making a difference. So never feel like you aren't doing anything. Obviously, we can all do more. And it is our duty to try to, as in our, as much as our ability allows us to. Okay, let me go to Ask the Toby.
Salam, Taz. Hi, everybody.
Salam, Toby. Hi.
Hi, Huwaida. I want to express I'm really grateful that everybody, the last of the Handala crew, made it out, and grateful that you're safe. I came up because I'm really interested in protective presence, and I just heard you mention that you're involved in um, some organizations that help facilitate that. What's the best way to kind of get that ball rolling and get involved there?
Yep, I mentioned there are a few organizations now, I think, doing it, and one that's I'm not sure if it's off the ground yet, but the longest standing, well, the, um, the almost longest. There's a Christian peacemaker team that I think just changed their name to like Community Peacemaker Teams. They've been long like a presence in the Hebron region, but just about as old is the International Solidarity Movement, which I helped co-found years ago, and they are still working, and that's what they're doing now. We were originally founded to support Palestinian popular resistance, so we were, joining Palestinian-led protests and nonviolent direct actions. Honestly, there aren't so many of them these days. Just the level of brutality and violence and unaccountability here is over the top. But protective presence, or just the presence here with the community, is so important. And our main presence is in the Masafer Yatta area, but there's also in the Jordan Valley and a location in the north right now. It depends on how many volunteers we have to how many locations we can keep presence at. And we take volunteers all year round. So you just head to our website, PAL Solidarity, PAL Solidarity, all one word, .org, and you should find information there about how to join.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Toby has expressed interest. So we have been trying to help assist him in the right direction of where he can go. So Huwaida is also another route. So definitely check out ISM. And I hope it works out, Toby. Your effort and you wanting to do that is absolutely admirable and amazing. So applause to you. Abid, are you still here? I wanted to see if you wanted to have any last words before we wrap it up, and we can go from there. Huwaida, you said that you would be back in the States pretty soon. Inshallah, you have a safe trip. And we are really excited to hear from all of those that have arrived for Christmas. You said to continue to check out. You will your the Freedom Flotilla Coalition will be posting an update about when he will be arriving.
Yes, they should be.
Um,
No worries.
so you said was it tomorrow at 9 a.m. at JFK, or
Yes.
was it a different? Okay, so tomorrow 9 a.m. JFK. So for anybody that is interested in going out to, so tomorrow Friday, not Saturday.
It's Saturday at 9.
Okay, I'll verify and make sure. It's not Newark MLC, it was changed. So for it's no longer at Newark, it was changed. His route was changed. So I believe it will be at JFK. I just didn't know if it was Saturday or if it was tomorrow. She said tomorrow, but we want to check. I think she may have gotten a call, but we'll definitely keep up with that. And I'm sure they will. Did they already post anything?
Um, Sorry, am I still here? Okay, sorry. I
You
just
are.
went to, I changed apps to check the ticket that I see. Yeah, it says 9 a.m. on Friday, Friday, August 1st, 9 a.m. JFK.
Okay, so there you go, guys. Friday, August 1st at 9 a.m. at JFK. So make sure you guys spread the message. That is where Chris will be arriving. So for anybody that does want to go and welcome him back, and show some love and support for him. Obviously, he has been through so much, so that is the least that we all can do. So if you are in New York and or New Jersey or that area, please make sure to show up. Thank you so much, Huwaida. I know we had a little bit of technical difficulties in the beginning, but I'm so glad that we were able to make it work out. Inshallah, you have a safe arrival. Please take care of yourself. And if there's anything that we can do, a call of action, let us know. And we are all here for you. You are an amazing hero for all of us. Everyone, like you saw, some people in Gaza were watching. Everyone, the world is watching, and we are just so proud of you, and all of the efforts that you have been doing for all of these years. Because if you aren't aware, guys, Huwaida has been doing this for a very long time. She is an amazing woman, and we are so proud of her, of our Palestinian sister, Huwaida. So thank you again so much, Huwaida, for joining us. سلمينا على فلسطين وعلى أرض فلسطين دوسينا ترابها. And thank you again. Allah يحميكي. May Allah protect you. Take care, Sister Huwaida.
Thank you, everyone, so much. Thank you, Taz, and everyone.
Thank you.